How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we'll make some brioche curry buns. Brioche is a super versatile dough. I have many more recipes in my brioche playlist. You can check them out in the link in the top right corner. Each of my brioche recipes is using the same base dough, and you will find it in the same playlist. But now let's get on with these beautiful little brioche chicken curry buns. But of course you could fill these with whatever you like. And as always, you'll find a full written recipe with metric and imperial units in the link in the description box. So here's the things you'll need. You'll need a tray for the buns, a tray for the chicken, some non-stick paper, scales, dough scraper, a brush and a rolling pin. Right, ingredients. You'll need some chicken thighs, yogurt, some chopped ginger, chopped garlic, garam masala, turmeric, the juice and zest of a lemon, some chili flakes, spring onions, and to top the buns you'll need some sesame seeds and 1 egg yolk mixed with 1 teaspoon of milk for glazing. Now first things first, let's marinate the chicken. We need to do this overnight to get more flavor, and also the brioche dough needs to sit in the fridge overnight, so it only makes sense. So combine all the ingredients except the spring onions, they'll come later. Give them a good mix and then add the chicken thighs. You could also use chicken breasts, but of course the cooking times will differ in that case. And once everything's nicely covered, pop it in the fridge and leave it. Now the following day you want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius with a fan on. You want to preheat your oven for around 40 minutes before you bake anything. Now I am using a non-stick tray, but I'm also using non-stick paper. It gives me less washing up to do afterwards. Lay the chicken thighs out on a tray side by side so they're not overlapping. Then pop them in the oven, they'll take around 40 minutes. And whilst the chicken is cooking, get your brioche dough out of the fridge, it should be well fermented by now. And all you want to do at this point is take your scales, weigh your dough ball and divide it into 6 equal pieces. Dividing them into 6 gives you a nice big bun, but you could of course make them smaller if you like. Now let's give them a quick pre-shape after dividing. All you need to do is flatten your dough piece out and stretch the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started. They can pinch the seam together at the bottom. Place on your table, smooth side pointing up, and repeat with the rest. You want to cover them up and let them rest for around 1 hour so they get up to room temperature. So after around 40 minutes your chicken should be ready, and if you can break it up easily with your spoon, then you know it's done. You can leave the tray uncovered at room temperature just to cool down completely. Once the chicken's nice and cooled down, chop it up into little pieces. And don't be silly, use a larger chopping board. Try to cut it nice and small, otherwise it's not going to fit in the bun properly. And as I mentioned earlier, you can use any filling you like, as long as it's not too wet. Now transfer your chopped up chicken to a bowl and mix it with the spring onions. You could also use some coriander, parsley, that's up to you. An hour should have passed by now, so now we can shape the balls once again. Take your dough ball, place it smooth side down on the table, fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started. Now repeat with the rest, and make sure you place them back, smooth side pointing up. Now cover them up and let them ferment for 1 more hour. You should really see them puffing up now. And these look about right to me, so I can start filling them. Now grab some flour and a rolling pin, and let's roll these out. This dough is just a little bit sticky, so make sure you cover it with flour properly, but don't use too much of course, it's easier to add than to take off. Flatten them out by hand a little bit and then continue on with the rolling pin. And they don't have to be huge. What we do want to do is flatten out the edge. You see what I'm doing here? I'm just making the edges nice and thin. These will form the bottom of the bun, and we don't want it to be too thick. And the filling is going to go right into the center. Now add 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of filling to each bun. If you overfill them, it's quite difficult to close them up. Now lift up the edges and seal up your bun. Simply press them together until there's no more gaps left. And make sure there's no holes, you don't want this leaking. And that's 1 bun done, quite simple, right? Now you can repeat with the rest. And if you messed up that first one, you still have 5 more to practice on. As with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But as you can see, this is quite a simple process. The brioche dough is made with a machine. The filling takes barely any work at all, and the hands-on time is minimal. As you can see, I had a little bit of chicken left over. It's not the end of the world, it's tasty as it is. Before you place your buns on your parchment paper lined tray, just round them off. Make sure they're nice and even. just makes them look a little bit better. Now we can clean down the table, ready for the final fermentation. At this point you want to start preheating your oven, 160 degrees Celsius with the fan on. Now cover up your buns so they don't dry out and leave them for the final fermentation. Depending on the temperature of your kitchen, it may take an hour and a half, or 2 hours. Just keep an eye on them. My kitchen was around 22 degrees Celsius and it took me almost an hour and a half. But what you want to look for is for your buns to be nicely puffed up, and when you poke them with your finger, it should leave a nice indentation. Now last thing before we go in the oven, let's glaze them and sprinkle them with sesame seeds. Now don't be shy with the seeds, just go for it, nice thick layer. And of course you can use other seeds if you like, or not use any seeds at all, that's up to you. What I like to do to really make the seeds stick is just to press them in gently. Now these bad boys are ready for the oven. They'll take around 25 to 30 minutes. Your oven may be more powerful than mine, it may take you less time, just keep an eye on your buns. But once they're nicely puffed up and golden brown all over, you know they're done. As an added bonus, you can brush them with some soft butter to really make them shine. This is optional. But that's your brioche curry bun. Quite cool, right? What's your favorite use for brioche dough? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have any questions or suggestions, also let me know. And if you haven't subscribed, click that button already. I have so many delicious recipes on my channel, and not only that, I also teach bread baking principles. Now thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.